Ba-da-ba-bum. Let's roll. Hello, everybody. My name's Arvind. You can call me Gundu, and today I'm going to be giving you a very quick introduction to digital marketing. A little bit about me. I do this sort of thing for a living, this sort of thing being digital marketing. I have worked with a lot of companies, but I'll get into more details about me later. Let's start with what is digital marketing. Well, I define digital marketing as using the internet and allied communication networks to one, sell stuff, two, build your own brand, three, start a movement, and four, make money in any way that you can. Well, obviously, there are more expansive definitions of digital marketing available given by old boring people, but I'm not going to go into that. For most intents and purposes, this should be good enough. Now, as we proceed further into what exactly are the tools and what are the techniques that you can use, there are about three things that I want you to keep in mind, as you can see on the screen right now. First one is communication direction. Now, I've put that as a broad category, but think of it as pushing your message out versus generating enough interest that people come in. When you're able to give something of value or something that is interesting enough that people come looking for you, that is called inbound marketing. And when you are pushing out your own messages, say that you have a sale of camouflage colored Canon lenses, you would want to send a message out to just about everybody in your network. That's when you're pushing stuff out. That is outbound marketing. Now, these two terms are important for you to know because in most places on the internet, they're going to be talking about inbound marketing, outbound marketing. I believe there's this website called HubSpot, which has a fantastic course/certification that you can do on it. I've done that before, some time back, of course, but it's a great way to learn about inbound marketing and outbound marketing. Similarly, when you take that idea of communication messaging and you twist that to, in terms of marketing approach, you get two kinds of marketing that you can do. You can have the farmer's approach, or you can have the fisher's approach. Now, in this day and age, both of these kind of approaches are important. Farmers are basically the term which you apply when you're doing marketing, but it's predominantly on something that you own, right? You grow your own fan base in some place which you can control. You build up your community, you grow that audience. That's what you're doing as a farmer. You're putting in the hard work and you're growing your community in a place that you can control. Fishers, on the other hand, bait them. Okay, that sounds really bad, but as fishers, you talk to them wherever your audience is. Now, let's say that if you're trying to sell photography equipment, right? So there's a very good chance that most of your target audience is going to be on Flickr. So you would want to go there and talk in the groups. Let's say if you're selling come on, you can't let me down. Let's say if you're selling computers, right? So you know that all the people who are interested in computers, okay, computers probably like maybe you could, just go and talk specifically in review sites, unless, you're a big brand or something. So fishers is when you figure out where your target audience is, and then you go talk to them over there. That's called the fisher's approach. And the farmer's approach would be when you grow your community at your home base. Now, speaking of home bases, this thing's pretty important. It's the POE framework. POE basically stands for paid, owned, and earned media. Now, by media, it basically stands to represent any sort of communication channel on the internet. That's what it is. Now, let's go into each one. Paid media is wherever you have to spend money to get your message out, right? So it means that, let's say, advertising is one form, or a sponsored story would be another form of paid media. Excuse me. Now, owned media is stuff that you own by yourself, right? It could be your website, it could be an application, it could be your blog. Whatever it is, you have complete control over it. Your email list also comes in this category, in my opinion. And finally, you have earned media. Earned media is what you could theoretically term as free mileage. It's like, let's say, other people are talking about your brand. That's what's earned media all about. This could be positive or negative, but personally, there isn't any major distinction on the internet, because reputation fluctuates so quickly. It's really difficult to say. Basically, paid media, owned media, and earned media together form the PoE framework. Now, this is the basic theoretical stuff. Now let's see, how does it actually apply to the real world, right? So in that, I have broken down some of the most common channels as the channels available thing. Don't worry about this mind map. I will share it with you later in the what is that called? Description, right? So first off, we have search. Search is how most of the people find the stuff that they're looking for online, right? And that inside search, you have SEM and SEO. What does that mean? SEM stands for search engine marketing. Basically, when it comes to search, Google is the big daddy, right? So I think 95% plus of all traffic, all search traffic on the internet comes via Google. So SEM in this scenario, I'm going to talk about as Google AdWords. It's where you pay money so that you can display a relevant link along the sidebars or on the top for a particular search query. Now, this is a very detailed, very competitive, very complex ecosystem. So you have guys who have been doing this since I'm guessing like 3 weeks after Google launched. But again, there are specialists and experts available. Personally, I am more of a social media / content / digital media strategist. So I'm the guy who plans how to use each one of these tools. But when it comes to actually doing the work on ground, I know the basics, but I pass it on to the experts. Now, second one is SEO, which is search engine optimization. As the term suggests, SEO is basically to help Google and other search engines understand your online content or online property, right? And you optimize your content or property so that it can be discovered and it can rank better for the relevant keyword in Google. Now, again, this is an entire ocean in itself, but it can be further broken down to two parts, which is on-site SEO and directory submissions or off-page SEO. On-site would basically be all the tweaks that you can do on your own website to make it better, and off-page would be, say stuff like getting it links from other websites, it being your website. Could be directory submissions or other stuff. Now, SEM itself, there's one thing which I would like to add. You can there are different ways to do SEM, search engine marketing. It differs in the way of how you're going to be paying for it. One is a PPC model, which stands for pay per click. Basically, that translates to you paying money every time somebody clicks on your ad. And then the other one is CPM. That basically is a cost per 1,000 impression. So every time an ad is shown 1,000 times, okay, I think this is right. Every time the ad is shown 1,000 times, you have to pay a certain amount of money. Now, considering the amount of traffic and the amount of competition, the pricing for each one of these will be different. Right. So moving on. The second bit is the website. This is usually under the owned criteria, owned media channel, right? It could be a static site, it could be a blog, or it could be an application or an experience. Static sites were pretty popular back in the day, but nowadays most corporate websites are also like this. However, there's a strong shift towards blogs. Nowadays, WordPress is the most common blogging platform. However, you have, remember when I said that it's going to be mostly owned channels? That is because you run and you install the blog in your own server and you make it, your own. But you could also say run it on WordPress.com or on Blogger.com or Tumblr.com. Each of these, but you could again redirect it with your own domain. If this sounds too confusing, don't worry. Basically understand that a blog is a website where people write / create content in terms of videos and photos and pictures and audio. And they post it up regularly. Search engines really like stuff that has been updated quite frequently, so there's a lot of benefits to that. And the third example is application or experience. Now, if you think about it, Facebook is an app. Twitter is an app. So basically, when you write twitter.com, it's not a blog site per se, but it's something which performs like an application. YouTube would be an application. So let's say that tomorrow you go and code your own application. That would also come under the website category. Now, for some of you, this might sound very trivial or very banal, but please bear with me because this is a beginner's introduction to digital marketing. Let's not forget that. Now, the third channel that I have listed is social media. That is an umbrella term that I've used to indicate all these different things like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Google+, YouTube, social bookmarking. There's like so much more that you can do there, right? And there are new ones coming in and now old ones like, say, Orkut or Wave, those things are dead now. But again, these are the prevalent ones as I'm recording this video. And of course, this will grow and shrink in the future. Each one of these also has its own unique strategy and unique approach. But honestly, the best way for you to do it is one, realize, okay, I'll go through some points later on, but just remember that as long as you're honest and as long as you're honest and you are yourself, you'll do just fine in most of these channels. There are some tips and tricks which you can learn by just Googling. Next, we have affiliate marketing. That is the part of digital marketing where you pay people a commission when they sell your stuff. Amazon and Flipkart are, Flipkart in India, of course, and Amazon worldwide, I think. They offer some healthy commissions if you sell products on their behalf. And there are a lot of other bloggers as well and digital and / online entrepreneurs who make money through selling other online entrepreneur stuff. So that's there. Influencer relations is another channel that you have. So maybe you're not the most popular blogger out there, right? Maybe as a brand, you're not as popular or as famous, but there is somebody else in your niche who's an influencer. An influencer is somebody whose opinion can sway the opinions of thousands or hundreds of thousands of or millions of others, right? So let's say if you're trying to sell camera equipment and you are a startup, right? You're a new brand. You don't have enough clout or enough following to get your word out to everybody who's out there. So what do? You look around to see who's the most influential person in the photography space, and you convince that one person, right? It could be a paid form of content, or it could be just a free demo, whatever is your arrangement. That person will be honest about it, rather should be honest about it, and they will write about it. As a result, just by getting in touch with that one person, you are able to get in touch with many other people. Next, we have email marketing. This is one of my favorite tools. I'm sorry if I'm gushing about it, but I think this is the next best thing to sliced bread anytime when it comes to digital marketing. Now, you'll have a lot of people who'll say, you need to spend time on social media. You need to spend a lot of money on search, blah, blah, blah. Sure, each one has its own merits, but my personal favorite is email marketing. So the idea is simple, right? You need to build an email list, which is usually done on your blog, right? And once you have that email list, you establish a relationship with each one of them, with each member on your list, and you keep on building that trust with them. You keep on helping them. You keep on giving them something of value. Then finally, if you want, and if it is absolutely essential, you will sell with them. Sell to them, sell with them, whatever. The thing is this, right? Email marketing, the bedrock of email marketing, the thing that email marketing completely depends upon is trust. In most of those other channels, if you look at it, apart from the blog, even for the blog to some degree, right? You could just spam and get away with it. But email marketing is so much more personal, I mean, I'm sure you could do that with other channels, but email marketing, you have that one-to-one sort of a connect that happens that just makes it so much more powerful. But when it comes to big companies, at least big companies I've worked with, they have totally completely missed the boat on that. So what they do is, hey, I have a database of customers. I haven't spoken to them in 6 months. Let me invite them to this webinar. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. You need to build that relationship with them. If you don't, it's not going to be effective. Anyway, more on that later. Next, we have mobile devices. Now, uh, I think about, according to one study by the MPA, 65% of the US is on a mobile device. Now, I know it's a small number when you consider the total population and all that. But again, that's a very good bellwether, right? A very good indicator of where things are going. Even in urban India, smartphone penetration is insane. So mobile devices are a great channel for you to communicate. Again, you have most of the social media tools and apps available, but you also have stuff which is, surprisingly most people forget about. Stuff like SMS, stuff like IVR, interactive voice response, and just good old apps like where you build an app custom built for your phone or whatever, or the platform. That's a great channel to market in, because again, you have complete control. Then again, discovery of the app on the platform is a little bit difficult, but we'll get into that later. And finally, something that's really, really exciting: physical computing. This is the place where the offline and the online meet, right? So it's where like the internet meets the real world, sort of a thing. So recently there was, okay, how about this? Let's say that the amount of water in your building is getting low, so you'll get a tweet, or your plant needs more water, so you'll get a tweet for that. Or every time somebody visits your website, you'll get a little ting on the bell, or anytime someone's trying to open your notebook, like the actual paper one, you'll get an alert. See, all these things are possible because of physical computing. Now, although it might seem like really cool and really exciting, perhaps only in, say, certain niches, such as, say, retail, or what advertising agencies term as activation, it has real practical uses. And some companies, for example, IBM and the hacker community as such, with their whole Internet of Things sort of a concept, they're going places with it. I know for a fact that IBM, with their smartest cities, does do some stuff with this front. But then again, it's a whole new world. It's a brave new world that you should totally check out. Well, these are just some of the channels available. I'm certain that by the time you see this video in the future, it would have changed. Of course, I haven't mentioned stuff like, say, podcasts or video blogging and stuff like that, because that's also there. I'm just kind of sliding it off with many more inside the social media. But again, this is a basic introduction to digital marketing. Now, before you go, there are two things I need to share with you. One are these things that you have to remember. First, as you're getting on to digital marketing, you need to understand that marketing, sales, and customer service are no longer separate. They're no longer dichotomous. You cannot say that, oh, my marketing department is different from the sales, is different from the customer service. It's because, fine, maybe initially while you're gaining traction, they could operate as separate things, but more and more, there's going to be a lot of interplay that needs to happen, right? A lot of teamwork that's required. These guys will have to work together as a team. If it doesn't happen, your brand is going to suffer. Second, individuals can be as powerful as brands, or in some cases even more so. For example, one of my heroes, Leo Babauta from zenhabits.net, has 1 million plus RSS and email readers. I mean, most brands can compete with that. That's huge. Third, honesty works. When you are true to yourself, it works, right? It just shines through, and it's honest, and there's no bullshit in it, right? So it connects with people. Fourth, nothing's free. Everything costs something. Maybe you're not paying with money, but you might have to pay with time or skill or labor. For example, this video that you're seeing, right? It's not costing me a single buck, like in terms of investment right now, because I've already bought the equipment from before. I have the laptop from before. I have gained this knowledge through experience, right? So that's, again, and I have practiced. So there's time, skill, labor that's going in. It's quite late at night, but again, it's important to note that nothing's free. So if you are a marketing manager and you're talking to your agency, respect them, all right? Because I know I have been in both places, and it's important that you understand the other person's perspective. Next, organic growth versus inorganic growth. Anytime you have an opportunity to, say, buy fans or buy tweets or likes or something, say no. I cannot stress this enough. Just say no. Because that kind of inorganic growth is very, very bad for you. One, you're cheating yourself. And two, whichever platform you're buying this for, it could shut you down. And three, most importantly, you cannot demonstrate marketing ROI. What I mean by that is, let's say if you pay, you are talking to a more polluted audience, so to speak, like the signal to noise ratio is going to be really, really, really poor. So you don't want that. And then if you're starting out with digital marketing, sometimes you'll feel overwhelmed with all the information that's out there, right? That is what I would term as information overload. Now, just make sure that, there is genuinely information overload and it's not a case of filter failure. If you're listening to too many things that are not too relevant to you, it's very similar to your email inbox getting spammed, right? Doesn't make sense because you have a lot of fluff, a lot of stuff that you don't need. So make sure you don't have that. Next is your voice. You need to find your voice. I don't mean just like talking and all that, but in terms of how you're going to be interacting with your audience. Sometimes you would find that you have multiple voices. I have that. So I have a go out and help everybody kind of a voice, and I have I'm pissed off with the world kind of a voice. So it's not necessary that all your voices need to go together. So you can find them different homes. That's what I have done. I have two blogs. One's called Call Me Gundu, where I go around helping everybody. And the other one's called kudumi.com, where I'm writing straight from the heart, straight from the gut about things, which I feel very strongly about. Then what I need you to know and understand is about the online currency. That is attention. People's attention span is very, very small. I cannot comment on whether it's gone up or down, but just know this. It's really, really small. And if you need to grab that attention, you are competing with some of the most insane stuff out there. So your stuff needs to have some value. Now, do not go around trying to please everybody because that's like almost impossible. So just focus on getting, in touch with your ideal fan, your true fan, right? And just work for them. Just speak to them. You don't need to worry about everybody else. Finally, Google and read this article called 1000 True Fans. It's a phenomenal article, and it will give you the right perspective on how to, approach digital marketing. Well, as of now, my content for this presentation is over, but of course, I need to do the shameless plug. So I am Arvind. I have worked with agencies, companies, and startups. I've been doing this sort of thing since 2006. Some of the big brands I've worked with are IBM, The Hindu, Novell, L Fashion Wear, and my current company, as of this recording, is Pixel Mavericks. I hope it stays that way for quite some time. And I write in 3 different places. One is callmegundu.com, which is a personal development blog. One is kudumi.com, which is a copyleft blog, as in everything on that blog is on the public domain, which means that you can go there, take all the ideas, all the thoughts, all the concepts, and copy paste it verbatim, free of cost, no credit required, and no one's going to come chasing you. And I also write at 2minutereads.com. My official home on the internet is arvindsundar.com. Well, this concludes my introduction to digital marketing. I hope it was helpful. Thank you.